These are very large drawings. Is there any reason they're not smaller?
Again, it's just all following your intuition and feel. I just really felt that they needed to be this size. I guess I wanted them to have impact. What I was going to say before, when you talked about this sort of strangulation or forces in the work, and I said, well, if anything, it's more about breaking free rather than actually being sort of constricted. But maybe that's also to do with I am trying to break free into a new area with my work. I'm wanting to shift my work out of the type of view that I had in my mind for quite a long time, and in a sense be brave enough to put that aside and just and go into this whole new series. I don't think it's had a lot to do with lockdown, but you could argue that in the last year or so, haven't been travelling, haven't been going anywhere, haven't been much further than a couple of blocks from my house, you know. So maybe that has fed into just going sort of more microscopic detail. But I think that was going to happen anyway. And in a way, I'm quite a bit of a hermit in the studio. So it sort of suits me as well with my sort of personality to just be honing right into these. And also the other difference is with all this the work in the last year is I'm only focusing on one work at a time and giving it 100% of my focus and just following it from, start to finish, whether that takes 3 weeks or 10 days or a month or 2 weeks or whatever. Whereas for the last 20, 30 years, I've worked on maybe 5 paintings at once, and each painting's taken 3 months to do, 3 to 4 months. So I've sort of gone from one painting to the next. So I've had to, in a sense, divide my attention to over 5 different paintings. And it's also been a bit disjointed, like while you're waiting for something to dry, you go back to that. Whereas these, I don't want to even think about anything else. I just focus on the one drawing from start to finish. And that might be sometimes working on it, not in the mornings, but say all afternoon and in the evening till late at night, and do that every day. Like with this one, I didn't want it to finish because I was enjoying it so much. Enjoying the process.
Are they ever finished?
Yeah, definitely know when they're finished.
Yeah. But personality-wise, you said these might be about personality. I know you as a very vibrant, jovial, positive person. Yet these are, quite dark. They feel quite dark. Do you see that?
Not at all. No, I don't see them as dark at all. It's funny, people have said that about the big landscape paintings in the past as well. But to me, looking out in that big landscape, it was just calm, Whereas, and maybe that's to do with, growing up in the landscape and then farm upbringing. But again, with these, no, I don't see them as dark at all. I find them quite exciting. No, because for me they're new and they're challenging me, and in a way I feel like I'm doing the best work I've ever done, and that's probably just because I feel at the moment I'm being completely true to myself and giving the work the time that it requires instead of rushing it. Instead of thinking, I've got an exhibition schedule or deadlines, which is how I've operated for a really long time. This time is about actually taking my time and just giving everything to the one drawing. And again, it's process that I'm actually loving.
You're definitely a process painter, worker, because I've watched you paint and it's very methodical and it's very meditative, and it's almost like that slow, steady process is a very serene process for you.
Mm.
And when I say that, it's like you walking through problems and things by just being able to focus on your work.
Mm.
And to be honest, I've actually taken that from you and started doing smaller, slower things when I need to meditate and move out of a current mindset into a more positive mindset. Because you have to be more focused, maybe, with a smaller brush or a...
Definitely focus, but this, I'm not quite sure how to respond to that, but what I'm finding with these, and like I probably was process orientated with my painting, but at the moment I'm just finding that charcoal as a medium is really suiting me. It's like charcoal, Catherine, 100% tick match kind of thing, you know, because I can follow it through. I don't have to sort of like, wait 2 weeks for that glaze to dry. Or I actually find painting really hard. When I come to a canvas or the beginning of a painting, I think, oh my God, how on earth am I going to do this? I don't know how to do this. And I am just kind of, fumbling my way through often, especially in the beginning, until it perhaps reaches a point and I think, oh yeah, I think I know what to do here. But, I find it really, really hard. It's really challenging. With the charcoal, it's like I've arrived home and I know this language. It doesn't mean it's easy. It's still really challenging, but it's a good challenge. So in all these drawings, I love the paper, I love the charcoal, I love everything about it, starting off with very tentative marks. These are all with willow charcoal. And then just very gradually building tone and putting down information, and then following the different mark making, that you might just make some marks accidentally, but then you see, oh wow, that's actually a really good texture, and you follow that. And so then you're almost following your accidents and accentuating things. And I think also just working with black and white suits me. So I am just thinking of darks and lights and tones and textures and detail and quieter areas. So that kind of language just seems to suit me, I think. There's one sort of accidental thing that happened in these last few drawings is I found that towards the end of the drawing, because I'd been just gently using eraser marks or some willow, dabs, whatever, it kind of accidentally embossed the paper. And I wasn't expecting that. I mean, maybe other people know about this, I don't know. It just sort of happened. And so then at the very end, in certain areas, if I wanted to just do a very, very, very light, just barely touching the paper with some charcoal, it was picking up the embossed textures in the paper that had been made from previous. I might have been dabbing it with a razor or making some mark with a charcoal, which perhaps had even been erased away. But then you go over it ever so gently and all that texture comes up. It's a bit like a snail trail, sort of.
Drawing differs because you can take it off, unlike painting, to an extent. Is there something in that for you? Because this is a much more direct method of making compared to painting.
I don't think you actually, no, in a way I'm probably using the same sort of techniques as you were alluding to before, from my painting to my charcoals, because you can't actually take it away as much. You can a bit, but even once the charcoal's down, even in a very light area, you can't get that paper back to white. So if you want something really crisp and white, you have to leave it. You have to decide. So a bit like in the gum tree trunk, the lightest areas initially had to be left white. I had to know I wanted to leave them white. So what was the question again about taking it away? I don't know. Going over it.
Harder question.
Okay. Maybe I need a drink.
Why change? Your works your paintings of trees are incredibly beautiful, and a lot of people, everyone resonates with them. You know, this is quite bold. Why, what?
You just got to be true to yourself, I think, and just, you know, where I'm at right now in my life, this is what's really taking my interest. So I don't think it's really terribly more than that. Apart from perhaps with the painting, I just felt I needed a break, you know. I wanted to perhaps, I didn't know where else I wanted to go with the painting, and I thought about, you know, where can I take my work? But charcoal's always been a love for me. But through various reasons, perhaps I haven't given it that much of a chance over the years. But right now, all I want to do is charcoal drawing. The paintings actually, there's not going to be any paintings for a little while.
I find these works very exciting in so many ways. I mean, technically they're just gorgeous and brilliant and very evocative. Like I think that those kind of works that people will be able to look at and bring their own narrative. But I guess I'm interested in your narrative. Like, I feel like there might be something that only exposes itself in hindsight, but there's this, it's like unraveling or untying. You know, these are almost like tied in knots. It's like, they're like intestines wrapped around, you know, trees, which your trees have been your, for want of a better term, bread and butter. And now you wrap these tree trunks in these intestinal contortions. I don't really know how to answer that. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Apart from, again, just reiterating, you've got to be really true to yourself. And now, at a time in my life more than any other time in my painting career, my main priority is to just take some time out from exhibiting, take some time out from everything that I was doing in the past, and reconnect with why am I making art and how am I making art. So kind of getting back to that little inner artist that was in there somewhere that perhaps had got a little bit lost over the years when you get consumed by needing to earn a living and, you know, I've produced a solo show every 12 months for the last 20 years. And that's been pretty exhausting, like good, but exhausting. And so I just kind of wanted to step back from all of that and slow down and reconnect with the true voice of art making for me, which perhaps got a little bit lost along the way. And I figure that, you know, whether I'm going to do drawings now for the next 20 years or whether these drawings will then lead back into more paintings, but those paintings will be, they'll have a certain shift to them, a different engagement with them. Yeah.